Hey! I was valid yet critical of a GFX YouTube review a couple days ago, and I made a mistake. Not in anything that I said, but by not including a lot of really key salient points that I missed in that review. Point number one. By the way, the GFX 50R, not my opinion, is perfect for street photography. I've used the hell out of this camera. The hell. You see, I didn't actually rent it like everybody else did and that reviewer did. I actually bought it, and I actually know how to use the camera. It just so happens that the most prolific street photographer ever. I don't know if you've ever heard of Miss Mayer. Yeah, and her photography. Yeah, she used a Rolleiflex. I don't know if you know what a Rolleiflex is. It's a medium format twin lens camera. And it's not famous for its autofocus capabilities. In fact, it's a manual focus camera. So here's one key important thing that you messed up on. You don't know how to use the camera. Not meaning you, I'm talking about the reviewer. So the most prolific street photographer who ever lived was able to do an excellent job with a medium format Rolleiflex. Then I'm pretty sure that you don't know how to set a focus trap and use this camera correctly. Point number two, and I missed it. By the way, you should check out my Instagram, my latest post on Instagram. I got a neat screenshot there. Really key thing that you missed, and I saw it, but I didn't make note of it, but everybody else pointed it out to me. Mr. Reviewer, the person that rented this camera, but doesn't know how to use it. Oh, crikey, mate, this camera is just horrible, uggers. It's like, well, that's kind of subjective, right? You know, somebody might have little bitty baby hands or something like that, so it's very subjective. But I didn't make note of, and I should have caught this, but everybody else did, and they pointed it out to me. Is that, and I went back and I looked like, oh yeah, excuse me. So the guy on YouTube that everybody looks up to and doesn't know how to do a correct review of a camera, the only two lenses you were using was the enormous 110mm f2 for portraiture. Not saying that you couldn't use that for street photography, but it is a huge, heavy lens. And the other lens that you were using was the absolutely gigantic, enormous, extra colossal, Hulk-sized 250mm f4. I have all the GFX lenses. That lens is huge! So, so the koala vociferously told everybody how, oh my God, he's just holding this camera all day long, it's just horrible. I didn't make note of the fact that Mr. Koala was using the two heaviest lenses made for the GFX system on this camera. You see, now if you wanted to do, excuse me, Mr. Koala, this is where I'm going to tell you what you messed up on, Mr. Koala. If you wanted to do street photography, it would have behooved you to use one of the really small lenses for street photography, the 63mm, which is not my favorite, but it's a small little pancake lens. Or this incredibly lightweight lens, which is smaller than most 35mm lenses, the 45mm f2.8, which is a 35mm field of view equivalent. Yeah. Yeah, you see, when you're talking about street photography, oh my God, crikey, mate, the ergonomics of this camera are killing me. What you should have used was this lens. Yeah, not those two enormous, huge, Hulk-sized, titanic, enormous, huge, heavy lenses. I should have noted that when I was watching your video, but it was just so painful for me to watch. But I'm glad that other people pointed that out to me. You see? Yeah, it would be like, what would be the equivalent? It would be the equivalent of me having any full-frame Nikon camera, and then I had the super huge, gigantic 300mm 2.8 on it, and I was like trying to do, it's not a lens for street photography. And I was like, oh my God, this lens is so heavy. Yeah. Now someone pointed out to you in the comments section, they said, why didn't you listen to other YouTube reviewers that actually own the camera and know how to use it correctly to use the hand strap? And the hand strap referred to is, you see right now I have no finger touching the camera. This makes the ergonomics, even with this really lightweight lens, really wonderful. You know, if I ever want to like let go of it, I can just like, you know, let it dangle there and it's not going to fall or anything. Makes the ergonomics really beautiful. And you commented to the other person that you use the Black Rapid strap. That's actually a hand loop. I've got 4 of those. If you don't know what a Black Rapid hand loop is, it actually attaches to the bottom of your camera and just goes around. It doesn't change the ergonomics at all. It's made for one thing, to keep you from dropping your camera or having it be stolen. It doesn't change the ergonomics. That, I'm gonna wise you up for a second right here, okay? This is where I'm gonna wise up the koala. That is called a hand loop, and it's made to keep you from dropping your camera. This, my friends, Mr. Koala, is called a hand strap. This changes, it does everything a hand loop does and a lot more. It changes the ergonomics of the camera. You see this? I don't even have a single finger holding onto this camera right now. Yeah, it's beautiful. This is a hand strap. When you said, you commented, check out my Instagram. Check out my Instagram post. This is what people are talking about. Yeah. You see, boys and girls, I'm going to clue you in on something really important here. This is the difference between renting a camera for a week or 2, just so you could post some affiliate links, money, 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 and actually buying and owning the camera and knowing how to use it correctly. Now, there's going to be a separation between 2 of you. 2 of you, half of you that watch this video are going to laugh. It's like, yeah, that's correct. He said it in a funny way. He was a little bit too snarky. But it was all accurate. And then there's the other half. I don't like that guy. He's a little bit too, what's the word I'm looking for? Salty. Is salty the word? You might want to use another word. Some English person left some comments about me recently, and the English are really good. I forget what the English say about me. It's not salty. Yeah, I think they're calling me uncouth or something to that effect. You see, the only thing that matters are the facts. And everything I've said in this video is factually correct. And this is a street photography lens for the GFX 50R. Not the 110mm nor the 250. Not that you can't use it for that, okay? Yeah, you can. Yes. And if Vivian Mayer, the most prolific street photographer who ever lived, can nail street photography with a manual focus Rolleiflex, then you're... He kept the koala... This is not a street photography camera, mate! No, it's probably the case that you don't actually know how to set a focus trap, or you're just not a good photographer. You just don't know how to do things right. You know, guys... Yeah... Back in the day when I had a Nikon F4S, I had a pair of them in photography school. Even my 6.7 Pentax. I used my 6.7 Pentax for street photography, medium format 6.7 camera. That camera was manual focus. I still didn't think back in the year 1991 through 1994 when I was using it, was like, oh my God, I just hate this camera because it's manual focus. So, this camera is actually really fast. More than... This is a camera perfectly adept to do street photography. It's that you don't know how to use it correctly. Yeah. That's not my opinion. That's a fact. Bye-bye. Yeah. Right.